All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back to our beginner gardener series, and today our focus is going to be on lettuce. Lettuce is probably by far the easiest plant that you can grow. For me, when I started out gardening, that was one of the first things that I learned to garden because lettuce is just super easy. All you have to do is sprinkle some seeds, and the lettuce pretty much goes on its own. Just because of the weather, you really need some cooler weather when you talk about lettuce. I wanted to do some in the ground, but also some that I did in transplants. And so in the pot here, I did a salad mix that I just direct seeded there into the soil. And so then the rest of this, I just went ahead and in these little pots that I just planted out, and they're just super easy. These are probably a lot rooted in here more than I want them to be, but we're just gonna break these out of these little seed cells and get these planted. Planting these in this 25-gallon grow bag here, and so with this grow bag you can really get a lot of these planted, and so I'm gonna really pack these in. These are butter crunch lettuces, and so these actually get pretty big if you let them go, and so I'm going to really just break them apart, pack them in, and then I'll probably get about 8 butter crunch lettuces that'll grow in this 25-gallon bag here, and so these will take off and get going and do pretty well in this bag. And so I love growing lettuces. They're just super easy. This butter crunch will be ready to harvest in about 45 days. And so this is just a super easy crop to grow. I just spread them about 8 inches apart, and then they'll take off from there. Some of these have some really nice root balls, and so I'm not growing these to head, and so I really just want these to get going in the soil, and then they'll take off and sprout up pretty nicely. You can just plant these as just like separate plants, and they'll grow into really nice heads, but I just like to do cut and come again, and so instead of trying to get ahead, I really would just prefer to pop these in, and then as they grow, I'll just take the outer leaves and eat those, and then the rest of the leaves will grow in as this plant continues to, as the plants continue to grow. And so most of these have 2 to 3 plants per seed cell, which is what I was going for. And then we'll see how things go. I wasn't sure what the weather was going to do, and so if the weather was going to stay hot, then I didn't want to plant these out. And so right now it's still 90 degrees. So it is a lot hotter than I want it to be, but that's why I planted the mix, which is a heat wave mix, and then I'll have these butter crunch that really need a little bit colder weather. The weather is saying that it's going to be cooler next week, and so I'm going to go ahead and put these in the ground. They were just really taking over the root trays that they were in. So I'm going to go ahead and just plant these in the ground and see what these look like here in the next month. So these should be ready to harvest or start cutting the outer leaves in the next 45 days. And then we should be on our way to having lettuce. Once I know that it's going to be cooled down, then I've got some other spaces where I'll put the head lettuce at, because I really do like to let these go to head. I just wasn't sure what the temperature was going to be like, and so I didn't want to have a whole bunch of head lettuce that was really going to just bolt and be bad. And so these will do pretty nicely in here. And so here in the next 3 weeks, we should be able to start harvesting lettuce. And so I'm really excited to get some lettuce. I haven't been able to get lettuce all year. It's just too hot here in the south to really do a whole lot of lettuce. And so the fall into the winter is when I grow the bulk of my lettuces, and whatever lasts into the winter, we'll just harvest all winter. We don't have many frost here, so we really don't have to worry about it. Things like this heat variety, there's a lot of just mixture of different lettuces that are in this tan container here. And so this thing will just fill in pretty nicely. There's a lot of spotty germination, so there's a lot of gaps in here, most likely because of the heat. And so I'll just continue to add more or add some other things in here. Maybe add some more onions or move some of these onions so I can use up some more of the real estate in that bag. But we'll play with it as we get more into the season. That was just more of a test to see what they look like, what the germination was going to be, and if that was going to be successful at all. And so that looks like it did pretty well despite the spotty germination, but there's quite a bit there, and so I'll let it grow in and really see what happens. But as we get cooler, then it gives us an opportunity to have more and more things going in the garden to kind of let things get overgrown and just let things get carried away. But it's been nice to get things cleaned up and you know, get some of these beds cleared out. And so all the containers for the most part that I'm going to use for the winter have been cleared. I've got some in-ground beds that I still have to work on, and so I'm going to do that probably a little bit more next week. But we're where we need to be in the container garden, so I'm looking forward to having a nice long winter of all the different things that I have growing in the garden. And so if you haven't grown lettuce, I highly encourage you to give it a try. Really easy thing to do, really quick. You really don't need to seed start like I do. I was just doing that as an experiment. Get some seeds, these burpee seeds that I generally get for my salad mixes. This Butter Crunch is just a fantastic variety, super great germination, easy to grow. Just stay up on the watering, and these plants will grow nicely for you and give you some nice, good lettuce for you to eat. If it gets hotter, then that's when they do start to get a little milky and they do start to bolt. But as long as the temperature is mild, like it should be in the next week or so, it's supposed to be next week, it's supposed to be kind of tapering down to where the highs are going to be only 78. And so that'll be prime time for us to grow these lettuces. And so, but if they bolt, hey, lettuce seeds are cheap, simple, and easy to grow. And so I can just plant some more here in the next few weeks if the temperature stays as hot as it has been. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the video today. Make sure you get some lettuces. Hopefully, in the next video here in the next week or so, I'll be able to show you what these look like, and then we'll be on our way to having some nice, crisp lettuces to eat with all my salads and meals and different things like that. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like it, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Take care.